people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy. 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 Loud, not big, bitch.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Ahead of her upcoming unification match with reigning junior middleweight IBF champion Marie-Eve Dicaire of Canada, Natasha Jonas said, "I'd fight Shields here or in the United States." I think she said, anyone now has to go to her turf. And I'm happy to do that. And I don't doubt Natasha Jonas's willingness to come here to America for the right price. If you can give her the right amount of money, I'm sure she'd do it. I'm sure she would. I believe her. Natasha Jonas has proven to be a ballsy fighter, a gutsy fighter, but she's no buffoon. She's no idiot. She's not just going to fight her for peanuts on the dollar, and unfortunately, here in America, I don't think Shields versus Jonas gets the same reception that it would over there in the United Kingdom. There really is more of an audience for such a fight over there in the UK than here in the US. I mean, why do you think Shields versus Marshall happened over there instead of over here? Boxer paid for all of that. Boxer made that happen. They footed the bill. Neither Natasha Jonas or Clarissa Shields have anything going on with Top Rank and ESPN, so if a stipulation of the match is that it has to happen in the United States, who in the United States is going to pay for it? Bearing in mind that here in the United States, the reception wouldn't be the same as it would be in the United Kingdom. Sorry to say, but that's an obstacle, that's a hurdle that they would have to overcome in association with such a match. Clarissa Shields would be better off fighting these fights abroad, wherever she can get the most money for them. That's not in this part of the world. Even if it is her own neck of the woods, that's not in the United States. The Savannah Marshall versus Clarissa Shields fight brought in 2 million viewers for the Sky Sports platform. Big numbers for them. Big numbers for a women's boxing match. And what that indicates is that the people at Boxer and Sky, they might be willing to foot the bill. They might be willing to pay for this on the heels of the success they already had with Shields versus Marshall. They might be, so long as it's in the United Kingdom. In the United States? I don't think so. Sorry to say. You would have to favor Clarissa Shields to win such a match. You would have to favor Clarissa to beat Natasha if the fight were underway. Clarissa Shields is younger, naturally bigger, perhaps even faster. You know, speed is one of Clarissa Shields' strong points. She hasn't proven to be the biggest puncher, but she does have fast hands, athleticism. If I'm being honest, I'm more of a Natasha Jonas fan than a Clarissa Shields fan. Natasha Jonas really is one of my favorite fighters, but I love Natasha Jonas, but I wouldn't pick her to win that fight. That's just me being honest. I can think of several other fights that I would like to see Natasha Jonas in that don't actually involve Clarissa Shields. It would be a lopsided decision. That would be my guess. That's how I think that fight would play out. Now, a rematch with Terry Harper for all the belts at 154 pounds. Should Tasha beat Marie-Eve Dicaire the way I think she's going to beat Marie-Eve Dicaire? That makes a bit more sense to me.
I love Natasha Jonas.
I'm not going to apologize for that. That fight between Natasha Jonas and Terry Harper, well over a year ago, was a bona fide fight of the year candidate. Anybody that saw that fight loved that fight. And now that they're both champions at junior middleweight, that they're both in possession of almost all the alphabet titles, the most logical fight, the sensible and sensical fight to make is a fight between them. The rematch. And don't forget what we've been talking about here on the channel. Don't forget that both Natasha Jonas and Terry Harper, as far as their junior middleweight campaigns, they're on borrowed time because Mary Spencer is coming. She's coming dangerously close to becoming the mandatory challenger for the both of them. And I hate to say this, but I don't think Terry or Natasha can beat Mary Spencer. Too much size, too much speed, and a great pedigree. Don't forget all that power. She packs genuine knockout power. The way I see it, both Terry Harper and Natasha Jonas Don't get too married to the idea that they're going to stay up there for a long time. I don't think they are. I think they're on borrowed time as far as their junior middleweight campaigns. And should Tasha beat Marie-Eve Dicaire later on next month, the logical thing to do is go straight into negotiations for a Harper fight. An undisputed junior middleweight title fight. It's what they ought to do. And if for some reason things just don't work out, they can't get the rematch over the line, what Natasha Jonas should then do is target the winner of Kamara versus Santana, set to go down later on this year for what is the newly vacated WBA welterweight title. Natasha Jonas has proven herself formidable, even at 154 pounds, but make no mistake, she's not a true junior middleweight, let alone a middleweight where a Clarissa Shields fight would presumably take place, or would Clarissa Shields come down in weight back to the junior middleweight division and face Natasha Jonas there? I don't know, but what I do know is the clock is ticking. Mary Spencer is coming dangerously close to becoming not just the mandatory challenger for Natasha Jonas, but Terry Harper as well. And Mary might actually beat Clarissa Shields to the punch. That is, if Natasha and Terry stay up there too long. They're on borrowed time, I've been saying it. Not married to the idea that Natasha Jonas versus Clarissa Shields is a realistic fight. It's doable, but Natasha does have options. She has the option of facing Terry Harper beyond the Dicaire fight. She has the option of moving down in weight, taking on the winner of Kamara versus Santana for the WBA title. If any of the other titles that Jessica McCaskill is currently holding end up going vacant, the same way the WBA did, that creates that many more opportunities for both Natasha and Terry. They're both great fighters, great fighters, the both of them, but they're not bona fide junior middleweights. They're not true junior middleweights. I'd wager the money for a Shields fight is likely comparable to the money for a Terry Harper rematch. Hell, Harper versus Jonas 2 might even be less expensive to put on than Jonas versus Shields. So, Tasha says she's willing to fight Clarissa, and I believe her, but that doesn't mean that's the most realistic option for young Natasha Jonas.
Just like when I beat Wilder, all of a sudden Wilder was shit, he never was any good, and now he's knocked out Helenius, all of a sudden he's a killer again. But I've slain the killer. Slain him. But who knows? Get Chisora out the way. There might be a fourth Deontay Wilder fight. People say to me, you beat Derek Chisora twice already. Why are you fighting him again? Who wants to see that? But I say to you, I beat Deontay Wilder 3 times. 2 times in a draw, whatever you want to say. But who here would not want to see me versus Wilder for a 4th time? Not very many people.
The second Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight sold the most at the box office, something like $19 million at the gate and about 800,000 pay-per-view buys, 800,000. The third fight did considerably less than the second fight did, where the second fight did 800,000, the third fight did 600,000. If you were to stage a 4th fight between them, what the hell do you think that's going to do? The third fight did 200,000 buys less than the second fight did. Based on that trend, that trajectory, the 4th fight would end up doing even less than the 3rd fight did. Not that anybody wants to see it, in spite of Tyson Fury trying to sell them that idea, sell them the idea that he might lock horns with Deontay for a 4th time. Who's going to pay for it? The WBC have already stated they plan on ordering a fight next month between Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz to crown a mandatory challenger for the green belt for the WBC title. So maybe there is some effort behind the scenes to make a 4th fight happen. There might very well be, but who really wants to see it? Who really?
You're scared of me, Chisora.
More scared of your suit, son. You're a nightmare.
Scary. I knew you was going to take the fight. You have showed up the bodybuilder.
No. Don't listen.
You have showed him up.
Let me say something.
You have showed him.
You got so much bipolar over AJ. Just chill out.
Got nothing.
Yeah,
Man's a coward.
Leave him alone.
Man's a coward. And I'm just going to keep torturing him until he actually gets the balls to fight. Yeah, no he won't. Because that's why you've stepped in.
Don't worry about that. You will. Don't worry.
Listen, you should let me manage you. I'm the man who's got you this £2 million, me, not AJ. And I'll do it for free. I won't take a tenner off you. Because I like to help people out for nothing. Free of charge. For old time's sake. Let me manage you. Let me manage you. Like he said, I'm bipolar. Yes, I am. You can't chuck that at me as an offensive thing, because I am bipolar. We know that. I've got bipolar disorder. And what? So, you can't use it against me. I'm mentally unwell. You got to go in there with a mental patient, not me. Yes! Ah!
I think Tyson, mentally, physically, he wants to have sex with AJ. Because AJ's been living in his fucking Tyson's head for the last fucking 10 years for rent-free. Every day, what's the bodybuilder doing? Oh, he didn't want to fight. Oh, why? He's got a thing for AJ. He fancies AJ. And I don't blame him. AJ's a good-looking boy.
He wants to fuck him. I mean, the way he's still bringing this guy up, we're talking about a fighter who has no alphabet titles.
0.
He's coming off of 2 consecutive losses, yet he very much is still living rent-free in Tyson Fury's head. By all accounts, there's no reason that Tyson Fury should even still be thinking about this guy, because Tyson Fury is an unbeaten fighter, an unbeaten champion, a 2-time heavyweight champion. You've officially announced the Derek Chisora fight, and you're still mentioning Anthony Joshua. Why? He wants to fuck him. He's got an obsession with that guy. He wants to fuck him. You're kidding around. He won't shut the fuck up about the goddamn guy. Every 10 seconds he's mentioning him. He wants to fuck him. All seriousness, all fuckery aside, I think Tyson Fury, along with many other issues, I think he has an inferiority complex. You know, because he lost his hair, he's always talking about how fat he is. I mean, I think he's got an inferiority complex that not even his professional boxing record can satiate or satisfy. He resents Anthony Joshua for being the opposite of what he is: an angler, a liar, a hypocrite, a balding fat ass. All this psychological bullshit. He's bipolar, he's depressed. I think he resents Anthony Joshua for being the opposite of what he is. Tyson Fury is bald, whereas Anthony Joshua is not. Tyson Fury is fat, whereas Anthony Joshua, he takes care of himself. Kid's got a physique. Underneath it all, Tyson Fury knows that he's not the same draw that Anthony Joshua is. That's why he has to fight a guy like Derek again, to help him sell it. I mean, could you imagine if Anthony Joshua tried to fight Kubrat Pulev for a second time, or Alexander Povetkin, Dominic Breazeale? Make no mistake, the only reason they conjured up Derek is because they're hoping Derek can help sell this fight. They're hoping that Derek's cult following will contribute to what this does at the box office and what it does at the gate, because Tyson Fury by himself, he is not the same draw that Anthony Joshua is. Anthony Joshua with no belt. He's still a draw. Tyson Fury, he resents him for that. He's insecure. Because why should a 2-time heavyweight champion be so pressed about a guy who lost his last 2 fights? Why? I mean, what are you trying to prove? Anthony Joshua doesn't have an unblemished record like Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury doesn't have any losses. Anthony's got 3. Yet Tyson Fury still behaves like a guy who's trying to prove that he's better than Anthony. That's exactly how he behaves. He behaves like a guy who's trying to prove something. Keeps bringing the guy up, and you know what he's afraid of? He's afraid that if Anthony Joshua and Paris Fury were alone in a room, he'd bend her over and give it to her. She'd let him. She'd like it. He looks at that guy, and he's insecure. I mean, it's almost not even boxing related how obsessed he is with this guy. The guy's coming off of 2 back-to-back losses. He's got no alphabet titles for you to win from him, but he's still on your mind? You still feel like you need to prove that you're better than Anthony?
Frank, I'm just going to go down boxrec.com for the heavyweight rankings. You got Alexander Usyk at number 1. He publicly said he won't fight Tyson Fury this year. That is scheduled for next year, early next year, with Fury and Usyk for the undisputed.
March, providing Tyson comes through.
Number 2 is Anthony Joshua. Your son George Warren declared that on TalkSport. He didn't get back to calls, emails and texts. That's Matchroom, his team.
That's correct. Well, you did an interview, didn't you, with Frank Smith yesterday, and he said that they didn't have time. That was his words, not mine. And they didn't want it. Cost me 10 grand, by the way.
Okay, number 3 is Deontay Wilder. He's already boxed him 3 times, knocked him out twice, and he's just fought recently, Deontay Wilder. Andy Ruiz, I know you guys reached out to PBC, but they want him to fight Wilder.
I understand he's fighting. Well, they've made it, haven't they? The WBC have ordered it.
Okay, so that's him boxed off. Number 5, Dillian White. He boxed him in April as a WBC mandatory and knocked him out. Number 6, Joe Joyce. Both Frank Warren fighters, Tyson Fury and Joe Joyce. Why couldn't that be made?
Because he wasn't.
Number 8 is Joseph Parker. Never happened. Tyson and him are best mates. Number 9 is actually Derek Chisora.
And they're the independent rankings. And look, you know what? I hear what some people are saying, but at the end of the day, we tried to make the fight with Usyk. He said he couldn't make it. Not that he ran away from it. He just said he won't be ready. And the Joshua thing, we all know what went down there, and we are where we are.
Silver lining in all of this, the saving grace, is that Tyson Fury has said, he's told Frank Warren, that he wants 3 fights in 2023, starting with Alexander Usyk for the undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO heavyweight world titles in February. It's a silver lining that we may yet get that fight. But as far as this illusion that it was Derek Chisora or bust, that they couldn't find someone better.
They couldn't find him nobody else.
Tyson Fury ain't the BoxRec champion of the world, so don't tell me what's in BoxRec to try and justify this fight. He's not the BoxRec champion of the world, he's not the TBRB champion of the world, and he's not even the Ring Magazine champion of the world. Ultimately, he's the WBC champion of the world. That's the only belt he's in possession of. And by way of those ranked standings, there actually are more interesting options for Tyson Fury than fighting his old buddy Derek again.
Back when they were first in the market for an opponent, did they try to contact Frankie Sanchez or Arslanbek Makhmudov, guys that are ranked in the WBC's top 5?
Not here and now, and not when the Anthony Joshua fight quote-unquote fell apart. Not then, when they knew that Tyson Fury would be returning to action before this year was out. What effort went into combing the WBC's ranks for his next opponent? Because he is the WBC champion. If he's a champion with anybody, he's a champion with them.
Before the Joshua stuff kicked off, they knew he was coming back.
Did you try to get in contact with any of those guys, or did you not bother because Tyson Fury, opposite the ring, any one of those guys, it don't sell. Tyson Fury ain't got the kind of marquee value to sell those fights, even if they are better fights. Did you try those guys?
Did you try Martin Bacoli, because he ain't been doing nothing?
Now that would have been a better, more interesting box office fight than this fight. Did you try Martin Bacoli? Did you try Michael Hunter, America's own Michael Hunter, who was supposed to be fighting your cousin, but your cousin, Huey Fury, he pulled out. Michael Hunter's not doing anything. Did you try him? Would have been a common opponent between you and Alexander Usyk. You could have sold the fight on that premise, with that angle. A foreshadowing of things to come. Tyson Fury batters a common opponent between him and Alexander Usyk. In truth, the reason they landed on Derek Chisora is they need a safe enough situation that it doesn't jeopardize the Usyk fight, and at the same time, they need someone who can help sell it. Derek Chisora,
he does have a cult following.
The problem is, 1, you fought this guy 2 times already, beat this guy 2 times already. 2, you're trying to build this as a box office fight to line your own pockets, and ideally...
You want to line your own pockets, but this is a tune-up fight, and ideally, you can't bill a tune-up fight as a box office fight. That's not the way that works.
Box office fight is supposed to be a big fight there's a demand for, and that ain't this.
No one was demanding that Tyson Fury and Derek Chisora run it back.
Nobody.